Thank you for tuning in to tonight's game. Your game is coming up next. But here's some information from the Indiana High School Athletic Association.
6 easy ways to become an MVP. And by MVP, we mean most valuable parent. Like all of us, the parents of high school athletes tend to protect their children from adversity, or they overly involve themselves by advocating for their success. But when they do, they're negating the value of participating in high school sports. Among other lessons, high school sports teach teenagers to take nothing for granted, how to overcome obstacles, and that an extraordinary commitment of time and effort is required in order to reach goals and experience achievement. High school sports also encourage independence and self-sufficiency, attributes that are needed to be successful in life. It's natural for parents to love their children, and it's important to support them in as many ways as possible. With this in mind, here are 6 easy ways that you can be the MVP of your child's high school team. Number 1, attend your children's games as often as possible. Nothing demonstrates interest and involvement more than being there. And be sure to invite Grandma and Grandpa to come along with you. Number 2, cheer for all the kids on the team, not just your own. Here's a test for you. Do you know all the players on your child's team? Could you say hello to them by their first name? Embracing the entire team is a great way to show that your interest is sincere. Number 3, be a resource for your child's team. Does a teammate need help with transportation? Is the team trying to raise money for new uniforms? Is someone needed to organize a pizza party before the tournament starts? Maybe you can help. Number 4, try not to criticize the coach or the officials in front of your child. Hey, you're human, and there may be times when you need to vent, but be careful when and to whom you do it. Criticizing the coaching staff undermines its credibility and tends to put your child in the middle. And games are seldom won or lost because of an official's call. Remember, coaches and officials are objective. Most parents are not. Empower your child to talk with the coach about concerns. Everybody wants more playing time, and understandably so. But encourage your children to have that conversation with their coaches instead of you doing it for them. Giving teenagers the confidence and conviction to speak up for themselves is one of the greatest benefits of participating in high school sports. Number 6, focus on the life lessons your children are learning, not on win-loss records or how many points they're scoring. According to the NC2A, only about 2% of all high school athletes win a sports scholarship, and the average value of it is less than $11,000. But every child will benefit from the lessons they've learned as a result of participating in high school sports for the rest of their lives. It's difficult being the parent of a high school athlete. There's far more emotion and social pressure involved than is ideal. But if you follow these 6 pointers, not only will your children love and respect you, but so will their teammates and coaches. And you might even be named MVP. Thank you for your support of high school athletics in Indiana. Stay tuned now. The Indiana SRN game is next. Indiana SRN, where you're always in the game.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this Indiana SRN presentation of IPS Volleyball on IPSAthleticsTV.tv as the Crispus Attucks Tigers host the George Washington Continentals. I'm Eric Eaton, and I'm joined by Keith Myers for this remote broadcast. And Keith, we're extremely excited to kick off our coverage of IPS Volleyball this evening in what is a fantastic partnership of covering IPS high school athletics in a variety of sports.
Yeah, not only volleyball, we have high school football. We had Attucks last week. We have Attucks again this week as they play Covenant Christian on the network, and it's kind of exciting. And they're excited about our affiliation with them. I cannot wait till basketball season because I tell you what, all four teams of boys varsity basketball could be very, very good, and girls are on the men as well. So it should be very exciting, and we're glad that we're part of the high school volleyball scene with the IPS Athletics.tv.
So our broadcast tonight from downtown Indianapolis is where the match is taking place at Crispus Attucks High School. We're going to have the Crispus Attucks Tigers be their first match of the season, taking on the George Washington Continentals, who come in at 0-1. They played last night, their first match of the season. They were upended by Indianapolis Shortridge in 3 sets in that contest last night. And Keith, these two volleyball teams here this evening, Crispus Attucks and Washington, just getting their seasons underway here. IPS delayed the start of high school sports to August 17th, and then the teams had to get 10 practices in. So this is the early stages of the season for both of these teams.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is Crispus Attucks last year, as I was at a seeding of the City Alliance, was the first time they broke to the number 7 seed. So Crispus Attucks has worked very hard, and Coach Davis has worked very hard the last 3 years that she's been there to make this program establish, and she feels like this could be the year that they could make some noise and maybe get in a little bit higher seed in the City Alliance, because the City Alliance tournament is at the end of the year. So could be a very interesting year for Crispus Attucks. For George Washington, they're struggling with some numbers. They only have 7 on their roster. As you said, Shortridge was their opponent last night, took it on the chin last night. But one of the things I know about Scotty Hicks and their athletic program at George Washington is they will try to develop and get better and better and better. So we should be very interesting. It'd be very interesting to see Indianapolis Tech and see Shortridge next week, as we both have those on the network. The Tech and Attucks game that was scheduled on Thursday that we were supposed to broadcast is not being played because, once again, Tech is getting numbers coming back out. As you know, when you have a 2-week delay, and I've coached this for 25 years, so when you have a 2 weeks delay and then you have to go 10 practices, which is another 2 weeks, you're off a month. It's kind of hard to motivate kids to get into the game.
And plus, IPS as a school corporation is doing remote learning as it is. They're not on site for school as it is.
Which is really tough because then at 4 o'clock when you have practice, does your kids catch the bus? Does your kids drive? Those type of, now varsity sports, most of the kids are probably driving, but with a younger program like a JV team, which none of these teams have this year, it's just really tough to get things going. And once it gets established, though, and next year we'll, you hate to say, we'll wait till next year, but sometimes you just have to wait a year to see what happens. Crispus Attucks 4 years ago, Eric, was probably not even close to being the number 7 seed in the City Alliance, but it took time to develop that. So it should be fun. We're going to see some stars as we promote. Come see the stars. These are future stars, and these kids deserve every single recognition, just like everybody else does, and that's why IPSathletics.tv, powered by Indiana SRN, has been established, and we're very excited, and we want to thank the school administrators and also Darren Thomas, the Director of Athletics of IPS.
Absolutely, and you mentioned the Crispus Attucks Tigers showing improvement under Coach Kiana Davis. Last season finished 10-12. Did advance to the semifinals of the 4A Southport sectional, losing to Ron Colley 3-0, so that's how they ended their season last year, looking to make more strides this year. For George Washington, last season losing 3-0 to Speedway in the first round of the 3A Speedway sectional is how their season ended. And as we just talked about, they started their season last night against Shortridge and came up short on the stick on that one, 3-0. They'll try to make a better stride, some more strides here tonight against Crispus Attucks. Maybe has a little bit of a slight advantage too, Keith, having played last night.
Yeah, you look at that 3A and 4A where, if you look at Washington enrollment-wise, yes, they're a 3A school. Should they be playing in 3A? That's, a lot of people say, but we don't play the schedule as a 3A opponent. But that's just the nature of the beast and how they set up class sports in the Indianapolis and the Indiana High School Athletic Association. I'm excited to see how the kids will bounce back after a game last night. Do they have some gumption? Are they excited, or are they going to just fall apart?
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see how that transpires. We'll have it for you here. The opening serve coming up shortly. And we've got the starting lineups here. I can pass along to you. We'll start with Crispus Attucks here. They're going to go with number 3, Kiera Williams, at an outside hitter position. Number 5, Brigitte Arias at an outside hitter position, listed at 5'5". Williams is at 5'6". The third starter, number 6, Jada Hoover. She's a receiving specialist, will be listed at 5'6" and a sophomore. Williams is a sophomore, and so is Arias. So the 3 starters so far, they're sophomores. The 4th starter, number 11, Dejana Jones, a middle hitter, 5'9" senior. And the 5th starter is going to be, it looks like it's Janice Rosax, defensive specialist of 5'4" and a sophomore. And we'll get you the Washington lineup here in a second.
As you see, the officials airing up the volleyball. New volleyball, new year. As we prepare for our game here tonight, we're excited about you being on board of Indiana SRN and IPS Athletics.TV.
And for George Washington, the starters, number 3, Nigel Legion, and she's a junior, listed at 4'8". Number 6, Ayana Ross, a senior, listed at 5'2". Number 16, Stella Llewellyn, a sophomore, listed at 5'4". Number 18 is Demaya Lee, a freshman, listed at 5'5", and a middle blocker. Number 19 would be Triana Wilhite, a junior, listed at 5'5", and number 25, Sydney Buford, a junior, listed at 5'4".
So it looks like we're ready to play as they are going the national anthem this evening, as we're set ready to go as they went into their huddle. We'll take a 30-second timeout. You're watching IPS Athletic.TV, powered by Indiana SRN.
Life comes at you fast, so it's important to have some help along the way.
My favorite patient. My favorite patient.
When the dust settles, it doesn't always end as anticipated. Embrace the journey and care for the ones around you.
My favorite patient.
For everything else and every stage in between,
my favorite patient.
Methodist Sports Medicine is here for you.
Welcome to Crispus Attucks. Keith Myers and Eric Eaton on the broadcast tonight as we are debuting IPS Athletics.TV. Thank you for joining us. Brett Goodrich is our producer in studio as we are saving footprints on site, and Tellion Johnson is our cameraman this evening as we are looking forward to this matchup.
And we're about ready to go. We'll have George Washington. Looks like they're going to be wearing purple and black, and for Crispus Attucks, white and black. This will be the first set. It's a best out of 5. First team to win 3 sets will be the winner tonight. And our first 4 sets will be to 25 points, must win by 2. If a 5th is needed, it'll be played to 15 points, also must win by 2. No coin flip to determine the opening receive this year in high school volleyball, and they're going to have the opening serve in the first set will be to the visiting team, Washington.
As the officials are checking up the lineup, as you notice, again, everything's so new for everyone, and it's due to the coach. As you put in a lineup and you go from top to bottom, and there's nerves, everybody, and I'm sure all the players are going, come on, ref, let's just get going. Other games tonight on the network of Indiana SRN, Heritage Christian and Covenant Christian battle of the Circle City Conference. Heritage Christian winning a big game last night over Tri-West, 3-1, and very, very interesting, and should be a very interesting game as Covenant Christian and Heritage Christian, always a big battle. That is a 7:20 start, so you may be seeing a double dip tonight on Indiana SRN.
Looks like the ball has been tossed to the Washington server. And according to the serve rotation, the number 19, Triana Wilhite with the serve, but served it into the net. That'll be an error, so Crispus Attucks will take a 1-0 lead. Number 7, Rhodes serving for Attucks, and the pass by Washington goes underneath the net. And so it's 2-0 Attucks here in the first set.
Thanks to Chris Hawkins and his staff for helping us out getting everything lined up for this evening.
As Shauna Rhodes, the server for Attucks, serves that into the net for a service error, and Washington on the board here in this opening set, trailing 2-1. Stella Llewellyn now to serve for the Continentals. Going to bump serve that into the net for a service error. So Washington with a couple service errors already, and it's 3-1 in favor of the Tigers of Attucks.
Crispus Attucks, again, coming off a very good season last year and looking to continue that success this season.
Serve in play, and the pass goes out of bounds for another error. 4-1 Attucks here. Serving right now for Crispus Attucks, number 6, is Jada Hoover, a sophomore. And that serve into the net. So both teams perhaps a little rusty here early on, as this being the second match for Washington and Attucks, the opening match of the season. It's 4-2 as we've seen a number of service errors. The bump serve there. Here's a free ball from Attucks. And Washington return goes out of bounds. It's 5-2 Attucks. And Keith, there's a smart play there by Attucks. Just get the free ball back over, put the pressure on the defense, and perhaps you can get a point sometimes, and they did. The ball bumped over the net and actually will not make it over the net by Washington. 6-2 now in favor of Attucks here in this first set. The pass goes out of bounds. 7-2 Attucks.
See a little frustration there with Washington.
Overpass, and
nice.
There's a nice block in the middle put down for a kill on the front row there by Attucks. 8-2 Attucks. I believe this is Dejana Jones serving for the Tigers, and that serve, let's see, might have just sailed long. It did. Washington gets the point there on that service there, 8-3 in favor of Attucks opening set.
And the best thing she did was to let that ball go. Eric, if that ball hit her, that ball's still alive.
Washington serve, overpass by Attucks. And the back set by Washington goes out of bounds over the support, and it's 9-3 Attucks. The serve by Attucks, and there's a ball handling error on the back row by, looked like Llewellyn of Washington, and it's 10-3 Attucks. They're out to a 7-point lead here in this opening set. Here, our match this evening between Crispus Attucks and the Washington Continentals. The serve by Arias of Crispus Attucks goes out of bounds, service error. 10-4 Attucks, your opening set. And there's a service error. 11-4 now in favor of Crispus Attucks as number 8, Cambria Johnson now serving for the Tigers. And Washington's going to be called for 4 hits, 12-4. Attucks on top here in this first set.
Attucks' next game is Wednesday, September 9th. They will play the Indianapolis School from the Deaf at home. On the 10th, they play Polytech. And on the 14th, they play Providence Crystal Ray.
Johnson with the serve again. Here's a ball bumped over to Attucks. A bump set. And now a free ball sent over to the Continentals, and that ball falls into no man's land there. Players need to do a better job of communicating there, Keith, is who's going to go get the free ball. 13-4 Attucks.
You know, you're seeing that more and more. You know, sometimes the players aren't communicating as well as they should. And it's again, getting used to, you've been off for a long time, so getting used to your teammates.
Washington having problems passing the ball here on that serve by Attucks, and Attucks has taken a 10-point lead here in the first set, 14-4. And we'll go ahead and just take a short time out here. You're watching IPS Volleyball on IPSathletics.tv.
Our family has been very happy working with Wallflower Pictures.
Because they make sure that I get the acting skills that I need in this industry and the education that I need.
Wallflower Pictures supports UV's journey in the industry. They're very passionate about his growth, and they're very professional and attentive to our needs.
And I truly believe in the projects I've worked on, like For the Boys and The Walk.
We love working with Wallflower Pictures.
Along with Keith Myers, I'm Eric Eaton. We're back with our volleyball contest tonight here between Attucks and Washington, and play resumes here in the opening set, 14-4, but Washington just gets a kill down in the back middle, and so that was a nice play by the Continentals, and they trimmed the deficit to 9 now at 14-5.
You're feeling the oats as the game goes on. They're getting a little bit more confident, so we may have a game here tonight.
A high serve. Attucks does cover it. There's a play at the net.
And he got in the net.
I think Attucks was in the net. So there's a point for Washington. They've reeled off a couple in a row now, and down by just 8, 14-6.
Looks like Williams got into the net for a net violation.
And Washington's going to commit a service error there. And give Crispus Attucks the serve, and they lead 15-6. Ball pushed over the net. Tipped over there, and see what they call here. Ball was tipped over the net by number 7 of Crispus Attucks, Rhodes.
And now the referees are going to counsel, as one referee called a net violation, the other one's called it good. We'll see what happens here.
So the two officials confer.
And they're going to replay. That's the best thing right there. No one wins, so let's go reserve.
Yeah, and for George Washington, that might be a break because it looked like that could have possibly been an Attucks point.
Exactly. And now, as usual, when it goes replay, you just don't get the ball over the net. Now it's 15-7, so it's the tightening of the belt, so to speak.
Served by Washington. Bump set by Rhodes, and a roll ball free ball does not make it over. Roll shot free ball does not make it over the net, and so that's a Washington point, trailing 15-8. The serve by Washington, and they're going to get a point. I believe it was Demaya Lee on that serve. 15-9 in favor of Attucks, first set. From Crispus Attucks High School. We're broadcasting remotely, though. The serve again. Rhodes a bump set, and that set's going to go out of bounds. And so now Washington is getting themselves back in this opening set, trailing 15-10.
This was 15-4 during the timeout.
And Demaya lead, some good hard serving for Washington here. And they're going to get another point. Now they're down by just 4, 15-11.
How about this comeback?
And Demaya Lee, she's going to really nice serve here. Serving hard, good positioning too. And Attucks scrambling again, now struggling with their passing, and some good hard serving has Washington down by just 3 opening set, 15-12. And that one, did it paint the line or not? Very close.
Nope, they called it out.
Service error on Washington, so Attucks will take that. They were struggling with serve receive there a little bit. Now they have a 4-point lead, 16-12.
How about this? Demaya Lee is only a freshman, Eric.
Yeah, nice serve. Here's Rhodes, the setter, on the serve. And again, once again, we see a communication error there by Washington, and Attucks will take the point, leading 17-12. Shauna Rhodes, junior for Attucks, puts it in play. Short serve and overpass. It's going to be overpassed back to Washington, and then they're going to hit the ball in the net on first contact. They tried to put that ball over on first contact, Keith. They'd probably been better off to try and set that up for a hitter on third.
Let your libero hit that ball or your setter hit that ball. Put that ball back in play, 18-12.
Shauna Rhodes. Deeper serve this time. We're going to get a service ace for Rhodes.
Nice serve.
19-12 now. Tigers on top. Opening set here between the Attucks Tigers and the Washington Continentals. IPS Volleyball. Shauna Rhodes. Good serving from her. Here's a ball tipped over by Washington. And then a roll shot by Attucks, and they're going to get a kill down. A nice attack there in the middle, 20-12.
It's a battle of runs here. Attucks now on a run. Washington ran 8. Attucks now has ran 4 straight.
I believe it was Jones on that kill, 20-12. As Rhodes continues to serve, the junior. Here's a ball tipped over, but we're going to have, I believe, a lift called on the Washington Continentals. 21-12 Attucks. They're 4 points away from taking this opening set. After Washington made a nice run, the Attucks Tigers have responded. Behind the serving of Rhodes here. Here's the
nice
set, and problems on the attack there by Washington. 22-12 Attucks.
Hard to understand the concept there to just got to take your time to get it over the net.
Rhodes, another good serve. Here's an overpass, two bumps by Attucks, and then they send it over, and there's Jones again with another kill in the middle. So she's got a couple kills here. Two out of the last 3 points, I believe, to her. 23-12 Attucks.
I think Rhodes is playing really well as a junior.
Mm-hmm. Serving really well. There's a free ball over. Now an overpass. And the ball hit into the net by Washington there. It looked like Llewellyn hit that into the net. And we've got game point here for Attucks at 24-12 in the opening set.
Boy, I tell you what, it's a right idea, though, where she wanted to go right down the line, just didn't get there.
Boy, Rhodes has been tremendous at the server here. Washington. Roll shot. There's the dig. And there's Jones. Jones just could not quite get that over the net. Had she gotten over the net, that probably would have ended the first set.
We used to call that the spider web, that the ball just didn't want to go through the spider web.
And we see Stella Llewellyn back to serve now for the Continentals. They trail 24-13, and that serve is going to go underneath the net, and that'll be a first set winner for the Crispus Attucks Tigers, 25-13. And we're going to step away for a short timeout. We'll be back with the second set right after this. You're watching IPS Volleyball on IPSathletics.tv.
Parents, do you like free food? Hike it on over to Prodigy Burger and Bar, where Monday is family night and kids eat free. Every day you can find daily specials featuring craft burgers, tacos, wings, and more. Prodigy is now playing the NFL Sunday Ticket on more than 25 TVs, so you won't miss a second of your favorite teams. Prodigy also caters, hosts private events, as well as dine and donates. Celebrate your school spirit with us at Prodigy Burger and Bar. More than just burgers, located in Clay Terrace in Carmel.
Eric Eaton and Keith Myers back with you as we're about ready for set number 2 between Crispus Attucks and the Washington Continentals. Crispus Attucks winning the first set 25-13, just 2 more sets away from taking this victory tonight, which would be their first win of the season and their first match of the season. Washington made a good run, Keith, but then Rhodes, the sophomore the junior for Crispus Attucks, went back behind the serve line, and she did a great job running the lead back out to Attucks, and then they put it away.
You know, you look at both of these teams, they only have, both of them, Attucks has 2 seniors on the squad. Washington only has 1, so they're building for the future. But the stars, the junior, the freshman, the sophomores, that's very interesting, and hopefully they'll learn something and they'll keep the momentum going. Let's look at the top 5 in 4A volleyball this week. Hamilton Southeastern, number 1, Penn, number 2, Crown Point, number 3, LaPorte, number 4, and Castle, number 5. In 3A, Muncie Central, Benton Central, Mount Vernon, Posey, Greensburg, and Crawfordsville. In 2A, Heritage Christian, they will be on the network tonight. Wapahani, Bar Reeve, Andrea, and Tecumseh. And in 1A, Triton, Blue River Valley, Spring Valley, South Newton, very surprised that they have a very good, strong team this year. And Logode, the defending state champion, finishes out the 5. It's 0-0, game number 2. Here we go.
Attucks serving. It's Deshaun Rhodes with the serve. The ball is going to be hit into the net for Washington, and behind Rhodes again, and Attucks takes a 1-0 lead in the second set. And so, you know, that's a good thing for Attucks, as they basically ended the first set with Rhodes serving, and then the home team starts the second set with the serve, and Rhodes is first in the rotation, starts with the serve. But here she has a rare error, service error by Shauna Rhodes. We haven't seen that much from her tonight, and it's 1-1 here in this second set. Excuse me.
And if you talk to her, she's probably the one that's probably upset.
And we get a violation here. It's going to be 2-1 Attucks. And back to serve is Jada Hoover. Hoover stays down, hits that deep and out of bounds, so both teams basically exchange service errors, and we're tied at 2 in the second set. The Washington Continental serving here with Stella Llewellyn.
Nice
short serve. It'll be a service ace for Llewellyn, and Washington has a lead now at 3-2 here in the second set.
And you got to like the momentum here Washington has. Had a slow start for game 1. Improved. Coach Ford should have to be very confident.
Llewellyn trying to go short again. This one doesn't clear the net, so Attucks has tied this second set up at 3 apiece. And back to serve here, number 11, Dejana Jones. Middle hitter for them. Good serve. Washington tries to send a free ball over. It goes underneath the net. And so that'll be an ace, 4-3.
If you're watching from home and you're a little girl, you'd notice number 3, that's the Williams girl. She's a sophomore. Notice that she followed the ball to the net with Attucks, hands straight up in the air. That's exactly how you want to continue to block.
Dejana Jones serving hard now, and on that one it's 5-3. Jones is a 5'9" senior, a middle hitter for the Tigers. Here's a line drive serve and another ace.
My goodness.
Good form on that serve right there, 6-3. Another line drive serve and another ace, 7-3.
She has more, half of their points tonight. Rhodes is very, very aggressive at getting the ball.
And Jones is doing a good job here. In the rhythm right now with the serving. Here's an overpass. And a free ball sent back over the net. And Washington tried to tip it back over, unable to do so, and Attucks leads by 5, now 8-3.
Other games tonight on the network, Covenant Christian and Heritage Christian at 7:20 right here on the network of Indiana SRN.
Another service ace for Dejan Jones.
Wednesday, Speedway at Covenant Christian. We'll have that game for you. Thursday, Heritage Christian Heron. We'll have that game for you. All of those games right here on Indiana SRN. Nice dig.
And let's see what
they called a violation.
They called a violation on Washington there. It looked like the ball was going to go into an area where no one was there for Attucks. 10-3 in favor of Attucks. Jones continuing to serve. Number 3 server in the rotation for the Tigers. Ball sent over the net. Bump set in the back row, and there's a roll shot by Jones. Washington return pass goes out of bounds. 11-3 Attucks in this second set. They took the opening set 25-13.
Cindy Buford lost her shoe, went out and got her shoe back on before she made that hit.
Jones again. Ball
There's
tipped
a nice
over.
Hit.
And ball ping pong back over by Attucks and caught Washington off guard there, and Attucks gets another point and leads 12-3.
I don't think Washington thought she could bring that ball back, and she brought that ball back quickly.
Jones, another line drive, serving another ace for her as Attucks builds a 10-point lead in this second set, 13-3. We'll see if the Washington coach is going to take a timeout, and she will. And we'll step away. You're watching IPS Volleyball on IPSathletics.tv.
If you find yourself confronted by unwanted pests in your home or office, then you need to contact the professionals at Kim Mountain Pest Control. We offer quality pest control solutions at an affordable price. We specialize in ants and termites. We're also available to handle a variety of other pests, including roaches, fleas, and flying insects, as well as rats and mice. Don't wait until pests cause severe damage to your home or property. Contact the team of experts at Kim Mountain Pest Control today.
Attucks trying to build a commanding 2-0 lead here in high school volleyball here this evening on Indiana SRN, IPS Volleyball. Attucks up 13-3 over Washington here in the second set as Jones continues to serve, and we had a horn go off right as she was serving.
And I wonder if they're going to replay this. I think he will. I tell you, back in the day when I was the AD, I had a clock operator that did that a lot during my timeouts.
Jones, here's a ball that on an overpass sent back over, tipped back over. Attucks on the attack, send a free ball over, sent back over by Washington, bump set. Jones a bump set. And now another free ball to Washington. Here's a good opportunity for the Continentals. They
nice.
tip it over. Jones, an overpass, tipped over by Washington in the middle, and they're going to get a kill there in the front. And might have been, let's see.
Rose?
I think so.
Yeah, did a nice job. Good job. Here comes our substitution.
Hannah Ross on that kill. As we get a substitution in for Washington, Stella Llewellyn comes in to serve, or into the match. It'll be the number 3 server for George Washington serving, and that is Lee. Attucks sends a free ball over to Washington, and they're going to get a kill off of that free ball. 14-4 Attucks here in the second set.
If you will, let's take a look at high school football this week on Indiana SRN. Crispus Attucks taking on Covenant Christian. That game is a 7 o'clock start. Heritage Christian takes on Tipton. That's a 7 o'clock start. Also Columbus North and Southport, 7 o'clock start, as we'll continue in just a minute.
And Aria served that out of bounds for Attucks, and now Ross serving for George Washington, and she sends that into the net for a service there. 15-6 Attucks here in the second set.
Fountain Central and Frontier is a Saturday game. Greenfield and Mount Vernon, a video game that is Saturday, and Traders Point goes to Clinton Prairie. All those games are Saturday.
Cambria Johnson, a senior on the serve for Attucks, an overpass, bump set by Rhodes, and Attucks not ready for that bump set over on that left side there. That'll be an error there on the Tigers. Washington with the serve trailing 15-7. Sydney Buford serving for the Continentals. Rhodes a bump set. Roll shot there, and that'll be a kill for Attucks. I believe it was number 8, Cambria Johnson, with that kill, and Attucks leads 16-7.
If you're new to the game, the libero can serve for you, and that's the libero right there for Crispus Attucks, number 10.
I believe it's White that's the libero player. Ball tipped over by the Continentals, and they're going to get a point. Good placement there. Back left corner on that kill. 16-8 Attucks.
So Attucks is keeping it, Washington's keeping it close.
And they're going to commit a service error here as Attucks leads by 9, 17-8. And we're back to the top of the serve order again for Attucks and number 7, Nashana Rhodes.
And if you're an Attucks fan, you'll like to see her serving.
One short on this. And the ball is going to go into the net. And it's going to be 18-8 Attucks here in this second set. Serving short, just makes it over the net, and the ball just did not. I don't think it quite actually cleared the net, or would we get a violation on Attucks there in the net there, I believe.
Jones on the violation.
And their middle hitter, Dejana Jones, in the net. Washington gets the point, trails 18-9.
I had a player once did that and say, I didn't mean to. He still gave us a side out.
Yeah, exactly. Now, Wilhite serving for Washington. Ball sent back over the net on a free ball. And Washington, the pass by Washington sails out of bounds over on the far sideline. 19-9 Attucks here. In the second set, they're just 6 points away now from taking a 2-0 lead. Jada Hoover on the serve. That's going to go out of bounds.
Yep.
Way too much hand on that one, hand contact. 19-10. Llewellyn serving for the Continentals.
Now you can step away. If you don't hit it, you can step away. Now you get the extra serve.
And goes into the net. 20-10 Attucks.
And if you notice, our referee is not wearing a whistle. He's using an electronic whistle tonight.
Dejana Jones serving. Washington. It looks like they had a little bit of miscommunication about who was going to get the set there. Another error committed. It's 21-10 Attucks.
Looks like we have some of the crowd in the school today.
Jones on the serve. Overpass, and Jones on the dig. Free ball sent over from Attucks, and great placement on that free ball right into the middle of the court. No one home there, and it's 22-10 Attucks. And Jones mishits this one into the net. That's a big break there for Washington.
Yeah, you played so well, and now you're opening up the door here for Washington. They need a little run here.
And it looks like we're going to have a service error on Washington. 23-11 now in favor of Attucks.
That ball might have hit the ceiling, Eric.
Well, if the serving team hits the ceiling, it's out. Arias with a service ace for Crispus Attucks, and now that brings them to game point here in the second set, leading 24-11.
Attucks has played very, very well. Washington, getting there again. You've only had maybe at the most 11 or 12 practices, so you'll get there.
Brigitte Arias on that serve. I think it just sailed long out of bounds. I wasn't sure whether Washington hand on the back row or not. They said no. It's 24-12 Attucks, and Washington serving now. Serving to trying to stay in this second set. Ball sent over by Attucks. And again, we see a couple of players for Washington unsure about who is going to take the contact there. And Attucks is going to step away with and they're going to walk away with a second set win.
Actually, it's 24-12.
24-12, okay.
You know, our scorekeeper, like I talked to about when I was coaching, our scorekeeper is now our producer today. So.
Okay. Here's a ball that's tried to be tipped over there by Williams of Attucks. It's into the net, though, so Washington will take a point, 24-13. They'll send Sidney Buford back to serve. Still game point Attucks. A couple players run into each other. The ball still in play, but Attucks unable to get it back over the net, so Washington will get a point there.
How about this? Washington making a little run.
Couple in a row. Buford will serve again. Game point against the Continentals here. Overpass, and Washington tried to tip it back over, and they weren't able to do so on that overpass. And Attucks will take the second set, 25-14, after they took the opening set 25-13. We'll be back after a short timeout for the third set. You're watching IPS Volleyball on IPSathletics.tv.
Hello, my name is Sean Kroll, and I've been a part of the Indiana SRN family for the last 9 years. Last year, we streamed a record 326 sporting events around Central Indiana. All the other guys broadcast basketball and football, but we at Indiana SRN also air volleyball, softball, baseball, and even golf. But we need your help. To continue our mission, please help us by contacting Coach at indianasrn.org. Indiana SRN, where you're always in the game.
We're back with our coverage here of IPS Volleyball with Attucks leading Washington 2-0 as we get ready for the third set with the Washington Continentals about ready to serve here. Let's thank our crew here tonight, Brett Goodrich producing and Telleon Johnson on camera.
Also want to thank both athletic directors, Chris Hawkins and also Scott Hicks. Scott Hicks from George Washington High School, Chris Hawkins from Crispus Attucks. We'll take a break. You're watching IPSathletic.tv.
Your home and office make up a big part of your world. Sometimes trying to manage it all on your own can make you feel like you have the weight of the world on your shoulders. And when the weight of the world is on your shoulders, you need a strong back or two to come to your rescue and haul your stress away. You need the College Hunks. Whether it's time to clear some space for new memories, to reinvent the room around you, or to simply pack up and move into a fresh new beginning, you can count on the Hunks to bear your burden so you don't have to. Let us move you today.
So we're back now from the broadcast, actually from Crispus Attucks High School. We've got we're calling the commentary remotely here tonight. Eric Eaton and Keith Myers with you as the Attucks Tigers lead Washington 2-0 here in high school volleyball here on this Tuesday evening. And the Washington Continentals, they have to win this match. This is the third game here, Keith, if they want to keep themselves in this match. So this is the time to bring it. Show the coach what you got.
Yep, you're right. And, people say, well, why are you calling remotely? We're trying to stay the footprints. Usually there's a crew of 5 to 6 on our live broadcast. When we're remotely, it's just the camera guy. He's the lone guy. But he also gets the hot dog and he also gets the popcorn. He doesn't have to share all that. But we're just really want to have safety. As you notice, the teams are separated. Also at the chairs, they are staggered. They are 4 feet apart. They're wearing masks if they're not in the game. If you see, both officials are wearing masks tonight. The one referee up on the ladder is using an electronic whistle, so he doesn't have to use a regular whistle. Just the safety of the game, because we want kids to be able to play, because we don't want any layoffs. And if you want to see more action on Indiana SRN, you can send us an email at coach@indianasrn.org, and we'll let you know how you can fund one of these games, and we would appreciate it. Coach@indianasrn.org.
And as you notice as well, neither team changed sides tonight in the match as well. They're staying on the same side of the net the whole time. As we get the third set underway, Attucks on the attack, tips it over. Washington with the return on a free ball, on an overpass, and now we get a violation on Attucks. A double hit, I think. And Washington on top here in this third set, 1-0. It's like the Attucks coach, Kiana Davis, conferring with the officials here, Keith.
Yeah, I think she's checking the lineup and see if the official made sure the right rotation, and he's going to let it stand.
Washington server, number 19, Will Height. Looks like Rhodes with that free ball by Attucks. Washington tips it over the net. Another bump set. Libero player sends it back over. We'll get another violation, though.
Net violation. With that electronic whistle, I will tell you, you can't hardly hear it. So, with the Fox 40, as a lot of officials use, that electronic whistle is kind of hard to hear, and both teams didn't play it on.
1-1 here in this third set. Ashana Rhodes serving for the Attucks Tigers. Ball tipped over by Washington on the front row. And then there's a roll shot into the net by Attucks on an attack air there by Jada Hoover. Washington leading this third game now 2-1.
What I do like is the aggressive play that Washington is. It seems like they're moving a lot more, and they're hitting the ball much crisper than they did in game number 1.
I believe they actually want to replay the point here as this goes out of bounds. It'll be a Washington ace. Now Washington leads 2-1. I believe that's Llewellyn on the serve. Good placement on that serve. Ball tipped over by Jones for a kill for Attucks in the front row there. She's done a nice job in the middle tonight for Crispus Attucks. We're tied at 2.
Yeah, that took her step, followed through, did a nice job. Our second tie of the game, 2-2.
Hoover serving for the Tigers. Gets an ace. 3-2 Attucks. Crispus Attucks on top. 2-0. Trying to close this out in 3. We got a ways to go, though, here in this third set.
Oh.
Hoover, good contact on that serve.
Like it a lot.
When Washington scrambling on the back row, that'll be another ace for Hoover.
You could tell by the sound of the ball that she got all that ball and it popped for her. That's nice. She served the ball really well this evening.
4-2. It's another good contact.
Yep.
There's that sound, good crisp sound again. Ball sent over by Washington.
Oh!
Jones tips it over,
Nice
and
Jones.
on the return, Washington sends it into the net, and Jones another kill in the middle for the Attucks Tigers
And
tonight,
how about tight roping the center line that she didn't get a violation?
She's played a nice match tonight.
Yes.
Dejana Jones has the senior middle hitter for the Tigers. Hoover again. Line drive serve ace.
Boy, that's hard to come back. You have to either take a step back or just let someone else take that ball. But boy, that was a nice little line drive. And you notice that she's just barely getting the ball over the net. That's exactly what you want. Look at the rotation of the ball.
This one a little deeper. Washington scrambling, trying to get a free ball back over. They won't. 7-2 now in favor of the Attucks. And one thing we can say, Keith, is the Attucks servers, pretty much whoever's been back there behind the serve line has done a really good job tonight.
Yeah, and to be very successful, you have to get at least 85% of your serves in to try to win a ball game. I always try to get to about 90%.
Hoover. Line drive this time into the net. Air.
That we owe that one. That's our jinx.
7-3. Washington to serve now. I think it should be Lee on the serve. Tipped over by Jones. Washington tries to send a free ball back over. They do. A bump set by Jones. Roll shot there by Attucks. Ball into the net. And the point will be won by Crispus Attucks, and they lead 8-3.
Take a look at our schedule at Indiana SRN. Later on tonight, Covenant Christian at Heritage. That game is a 7:20 start. Speedway and Covenant Christian on Wednesday, and Heron and Heritage on Thursday.
Dejan Jones on the serve. Overpass here. Ball tipped over by Attucks, sent right back over by Washington. Jones a bump set.
Oh, nice.
There's a roll shot in the middle and a kill there. Attucks is going to lead 9-3.
Everyone on that side of the floor has touched the ball tonight. Good play by Attucks.
Dejan Jones puts the serve in play. Washington, there's the free ball, and I think that might have did that hit the ceiling as well?
I might have. Okay.
I think that's the case. 10-3. Jones the serve. Washington with the pass. Roll shot in the middle. Tipped over the net for a kill. And getting the kill there for the Washington Continentals was Sidney Buford.
Good job, Sidney.
Washington the serve. Bump set. And
how about that kill?
Number 3 on that kill for the Tigers, Kiera Williams. 11-4. Looks like we've got a timeout. We'll be back after a short timeout. You're watching IPS Volleyball on IPSathletics.tv.
Bertner Electric Incorporated has been proudly serving our residential and commercial customers with quality electrical repair for over 33 years. We are fully licensed and insured in electrical wiring and electrician service packages. You'll receive a competitive assessment whether you're a homeowner or a business owner, first-time or long-time customer. We offer free estimates for any new project. Call our licensed and experienced electricians today.
Eric Eaton and Keith Myers back with you as our coverage continues. High school volleyball between Crispus Attucks and George Washington Continentals here this evening from Crispus Attucks High School. 11-4. Attucks on top here in this third set, leading 2-0 already.
The game will never change. The game will never be the same, I don't think, Eric, as we're fighting this academic, and I just like how the safety of everything that's going on. As you notice, every single player, before they walk back on the floor, hand sanitizes their hands.
And we get a substitution, number 14, Somariana Summers in for serving. She's serving now for Attucks. And gets an ace.
So Attucks is leaving off exactly where they ended up their season, on winning notes.
Another serve there by Summers. And let's see, do we get a violation here on Attucks into the net?
Williams in the net. She's played a good middle.
13-5, Attucks on top. Back to serve for Washington is going to be, it looks like Buford. It's going to go into the net for a service there. 14-5, Attucks.
Attucks really took control of this game number 1, and has not really been threatened, though Washington has made some nice little runs in both game 1 and 2. But it looks like Attucks is just a tick better today.
Another substitution, Ashley Duarte in to serve now for Crispus Attucks.
And an ace.
A 5'3" freshman.
There's a lot of young kids on the floor, aren't there?
Sure are. So Coach Davis making some substitutions here in this third game. Duarte puts it in play again.
Oh,
and I think got great
did it from the
placement.
line?
Yes, it did. Another ace.
Wow.
Back-to-back aces for her. 16-5.
Freshman has to feel pretty good about that. You know, last year she was playing 8th grade volleyball, playing big-time varsity volleyball in the state of Indiana.
Duarte serving high. Sent over by Washington, and they're going to get a point out of that on that return, I think. Well, let's see. It looks like they're going to award the point to Attucks.
Wow.
That'll be a violation on Washington there. 17-5. Tigers, Duarte again. Serving deep. This one's going to go out of bounds, so. 17-6. Washington now with the serve.
Did they find the line?
Others that seem to be conferring about it was. And they continue to talk about it.
Well, they called that in.
Must have just, the line is in. If any part of that ball catches the line, it's good. So the line judge called that in. Duarte serving, a whistle. Not sure what the whistle was there.
And I do believe that Washington's lining up, her foot was on the line during that serve. So we'll see. So 17-6, they adjust the scoreboard. It's tough that because we're not there, we can't see. We're only seeing what you're seeing, folks, so we apologize for that.
This one, I think, did go out of bounds.
There we go.
Duarte. So that'll be a service there. Washington trails by 10 points here in this third set, 17-7 and 2 sets to nothing. There's a bump serve. Ball tipped over the net there and sent back over beautifully by Washington. Rhodes a bump set. Roll shot in the middle by Williams, and that's going to be a kill. 18-7 Attucks here in this third game.
Williams having a couple of aces today and also a couple of kills complete. Not bad for the little sophomore.
And they bring the libero player back in to serve here for Attucks. Try to go up the line.
And that hit her and then went out of bounds, so that is a point to Crispus Attucks.
Service ace, 19-7. Libero player listed as Deja Jones, but have her listed as 4 on the program. Ball sent over the net, tipped back over by Washington. Beautiful play by Attucks to send it back over, keep the pressure on the Continental defense, and then they finally do get it over. Libero player a bump set. Jones will send a free ball over to Washington. And they'll give it right back to Attucks, but it goes out of bounds. So 20-7 now, Crispus Attucks here in this third set.
Margin of error is very low for Washington.
Washington scrambles off of that serve. And they're going to be called for a violation here. 21-7 Attucks.
And the ball got stuck in the ceiling.
Yeah, I was wondering where it went. I never saw it hit the ground.
Everybody was waiting for it, but it's up in the ceiling. So
now had that ball come down, it would have been a live ball for Washington. They could have continued to play it, but
that's
it did not.
Exactly right.
As we get a service error here on Attucks.
But now the athletic director will have to get the skyscraper and get that ball. Or if it falls down before the game, that would be hilarious.
Good line drive serve here. Olvera punches it over, and it's just going to be out of bounds. I think that hit the ceiling as well. 21-9. I believe that's Buford on the serve. Good hard serve. Into the net, and another point for Washington.
One thing about Washington, they have not given up at all tonight.
Actually, I think that maybe Wilhite serving. Here's Washington on the attack. Goes out of bounds on the return. And Attucks is just 3 points away from winning this match, leading 22-10 as they send very dangerous server back into Shauna Rhodes.
McIntyre checking into the ball game for Crispus Attucks. And that ball just falls into the net.
Another point for Washington.
Have a boys soccer game for you at a final. Southwestern and Jacksonville tied at 2-2, and that is a final.
Now we have Triana Wilhite serving for Washington, and it goes out of bounds.
She can finish the game up tonight with 2 back-to-back serves if that.
It's Jada Hoover serving for the Attucks Tigers. They need 2 points to win the match here, leading 23-11, and there's one. And now we've got set and match point for the Crispus Attucks Tigers, leading 24-11. Line drive serve. Ball goes back over the net, and unable to play it there was the freshman for Crispus Attucks, Duarte. So Washington gets a point there, stays alive, trails 24-12 as Stella Llewellyn now puts it in play for the Continentals. A bump serve. Tipped over there by Jones, sent back over by Washington, and it's in play in the back middle. Nice play there. I believe that might have been Buford who put that over. And Washington, I believe, with the point there.
Substitution.
See, looks like a substitution. Looks like Llewellyn on the sideline there for the Continentals. So Llewellyn checks in. It looks like I think it might be Lee serving here for the Continentals. Short serve. Ball hits the net, tipped back over by Attucks, and then put down for a kill by Washington over on the right side, 24-14. Another short serve. Attucks sends it over, tipped over by Washington. Jones with the tip, and they're going to be a kill back right corner by Dejana Jones to end the match for the Crispus Attucks Tigers, and she had a very nice match as well, the senior, and ends it there with a kill and a match winner for the Crispus Attucks Tigers here this evening over the Washington Continentals by scores of 25-13, 25-14, and 25-14. And Keith, Attucks had a little bit of a lull in that opening game where Washington came back on them a little bit, but then they got rolling, and then they played some very nice volleyball the rest of the way.
Played some nice volleyball. Coach has to be really happy about the situation. Don't forget there's other volleyball games tonight on Indiana SRN. Covenant Christian, Heritage Christian, 7:20 start. Just go right back to Indiana SRN. But a very successful night for the IPS Athletic.tv. We thank you very much, and we thank everybody who's helped us out tonight. Eric, we'll see you again.
Absolutely. Enjoyed it here tonight, Keith. That's going to wrap things up on our broadcast here tonight on Indiana SRN. For Keith Myers, I'm Eric Eaton saying so long, everyone, and thank you for watching IPS Volleyball on IPSathletics.tv, where Crispus Attucks defeats George Washington 3-0.